Hello, and welcome to my podcast. This is my website, jameslaguerre.com. No vax, no mask, no vax, no mask. And this is the friendly dragon. I haven't shown you all TLT, being stillness. Be still. With the categories John Williams, uncategorized. United States Institute of Peace, USIP. Victor Sperandeo. Tilting at windmills shows an enthusiasm for your dreams. Europeos et erudique, in Latin, cantum dulcissimum, very sweet music. Be still my heart, as will my angel depart. Stillness, the sand under the dross of seashells, like mercurial ocean moves. Decanting mood swells with pleasure. It's all like a romance in a black and white movie. And then a back-to-back beachhead. Footprints. A runner. Pants like a dog. Man's best friend flies with unfurled golden wings, setting silence noiselessly. All random till you see the design. The man returns, wings aloft, just in time to be too late. My fate is cast for naught, seeing before. JL, January 6, 2024. Then, in the news, Fed is to blame for inflation, solid growth, indicators in decline, nationalization of the economy. Shadow stats, 9% annualized inflation, a more accurate figure. Trueflation index. Fed has an agenda. Victor Sperandeo. Many rules changes. No deflation. And little free markets left. On road to serfdom. Wall Street for Main Street. John Williams, Shadow Government Statistics. Analysis behind and beyond government economic reporting. Victor Sperandeo, known as Trader Vic, is a U.S. trader, index developer, and financial commentator based in Grapevine, Texas, United States. So next, I found a definition online for zombification. Noun. The act or process of zombifying. A happy Biden, Kwanzaa, and crazy new toy requirements. January 4th, 2024. That's Victor Davis Hanson. The bad news hiding behind the GDP and jobs numbers. Mises Media. Fed is to blame for inflation. Neo-aristocracy employed by the public sector. Zombification of the economy, aka permanent bailout. Financial ruin for many. Financial turmoil explained. And this is Quang Nguyen Vin on Pexels. Photo by Quang Nguyen Vin. 6350990. Um, so I thought it was a peaceful picture of clouds, a reflection, beautiful. Um, Let me go back to, okay. Federally funded United States Institute of Peace calls for collaborations between the public and private sectors to address disinformation. They get to define what is disinformation. You don't get to define what is disinformation. So it's an Orwellian term. If you're tired of censorship and dystopian threats against civil liberties, subscribe to Reclaim the Net. A U.S. federal institution is getting dangerously close to advocating for restrictions on speech. We have learned a lot about this from Twitter and Facebook files, but this time pressure is expressed openly, albeit in a careful and subtle way. Posted on January 4th by Constitutional Nobody. And, okay, address disinformation. So let me go to the latest blog post. I'm just scrolling up here back to the Friendly Dragon home. And is it going to work? Home. Okay. Coconut Bucks on my island. This was, for me, inspired by Sticks, X, and Hammer. He was explaining, making an analogy about the US dollar being like coconuts. If you're on an island, it's an island nation, and they exchange coconuts, but now they have certificates that represent coconuts, and it devalues the coconuts, it devalues the certificates because they print more and more certificates that represent coconuts. So the number of coconuts don't increase, but the number of certificates representing coconuts increase. So the categories are infrastructure bill, Alex Cristoforo, Bill Clinton, debt, interest, doom loop, de-dollarization, Hezbollah, Hamas, Jeremy Corbyn, Mark Thornton, National Bank Acts of 1863, 1864, SCOTUS, secession, Trump 2024, Ukraine, and uncategorized. Devalue these coconuts. We buck the coconuts. Biden, non compos mentis. Non compos mentis. This is a Latin term, and Victor Davis Hanson uses that terminology all the time. Non compos mentis. He's senile, but I think he's an actor in a mask. They have very advanced masks. I don't know where the real Biden, I don't know where he is. Okay, so I don't know anything about that. Goldback founder Jeremy Corbyn talks with Mike Adams about post-collapse money. So this isn't This is not investment advice. Banking Acts of 1863 and 1864. American memory together, these acts form what are commonly known as National Banking Acts of 1863 and 1864. These Washington, D.C. laws imposed taxes with a levy court system and implemented direct taxation. This led to the country's first income tax. The government also strengthened the establishment of the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, which had conveniently begun operating in 1862. Conjointly, these propped up the new federal fiat currency systems. And this is news to me. I thought that the IRS was started by President Wilson, but every day you learn something new. National Banking Acts, 1863, 1864. two United States federal banking acts that established a system of national banks and created the United States national banking system. They encouraged development of a national currency backed by bank holdings of U.S. Treasury securities and established the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency as part of the United States Department of the Treasury and a system of nationally chartered banks. The act shaped today's national banking system and its support of a uniform U.S. banking policy. So this is Wikipedia, January 6, 2024. Kirby, Russia using North Korean missiles. Zaluzhny, I need soldiers. U.S. prepares for wider Middle Eastern war. Alex Christoforou. U.S. warns Ukraine it may not continue same levels of support. So this link goes to it's a time link. It's time. It goes to that time. The economic powerhouse, once known as Germany, 61 billion wanted for Ukraine, US dollars. Ukraine suffering severe frontline ammo shortages. El País. So this is youtube.com, Alex Cristoforo. Debt interest doom loop. Liquidity nightmare for banks as bond yields rebound. SCOTUS officially takes up Trump Colorado ballot access case. So that's the Supreme Court of the U.S. Supreme Court of the U.S. Long lost normalcy wanted in the markets. Secession, Mark Thornton, and he is saying to be peaceful protest and not violent. Korean demilitarized zone. So, and this is excellent map. This is from the U.S. Department of State, North Korea, South Korea, the DMZ, demilitarized zone. There was some confusion about what the DMZ stands for, but the war never ended. I never thought of it that way. There's a no man's land. It's demilitarized, but there is no. The war has not ended. So it did not end in 1963 or whenever. Okay. Digitized legal collections, the Florida Academic Law Libraries. Okay. And the Glass-Steagall Act effectively separated commercial banking from investment banking and created the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, among other things. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933. Okay. So the Glass-Steagall Act, part of the Banking Act of 1933, was a landmark banking legislation that separated Wall Street from Main Street by offering protection to people who entrusted their savings to commercial banks. Then, top-down strategic theater of war analysis reason regarding Israel, etc. Mike Adams, Israel desperately trying to rope the U.S. into war with Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, de-dollarization, U.S. defeated in Ukraine by Russia, anti-ship missile systems. And here is the DoD media public domain, RGM 84 Harpoon firing from U.S. Leahy in 1983. So I just wanted a picture of I believe this is an anti-ship missile. Forget Island, it's Epstein, America. Olvídate de la isla es Epstein, America. And this Caligula. In the year 40, Caligula announced to the Senate that he planned to leave Rome permanently and to move to Alexandria in Egypt and rule from there as a divine monarch, a Roman pharaoh. Wherever the emperor went was the seat of Rome's power. Speculation versus investment. Explorer's Guide to Sci-Fi World, Cliff High. John Williams, Shadow Stats. Inflation is not headed below 2% as big government spends trillions more. How 5% interest rates killed the US dollar. Then the terms FUBAR. FUBAR. and others are used as metasyntactic variables and placeholder names in computer programming or computer-related documentation. Foobar. Wikipedia, January 4th, 2024. Jim Willie, the corporate and treasury bond bubbles are bursting. Arcadia Economics. Terror attack hits Iran. 10 countries warn Yemen. Wonder weapon, long-range missile. R.I.P. Star Wars. Alex Christoforou. This is Winston Churchill, President Franklin Roosevelt, Joseph Stalin. And Financial Terminal Explained, and Alex Jones, Donald Trump. The U.S. is now $34 trillion in debt. And this beautiful picture is by Tamba Budiarsana on pexels.com. So you can go to pexels.com to enjoy this beautiful photograph. So that's all for today. The goal of this publication is to educate, presenting facts, history, and ideas before they are obliterated. Nothing in this publication should be interpreted as investment advice. Texan Gold Real Estate LLC, James Laguerre at texan-gold.com.